Number 14, Mr. M. Imagine the guy who fixes your toaster also being able to casually rewrite the laws of physics. And that's Mr. M in a nutshell. Absalon Mercerator first appeared in District X number 2 as the quiet handyman of Mutant Town. At first, he looked like just another background character, until you learn about his mutant awakening once flipped a childhood bully inside out like a gruesome sock. From that point on, it was clear Mr. M wasn't built for small talk. He was built for molecular domination. His gift is pure nightmare fuel for anyone trying to measure power levels. He can manipulate matter and energy at a subatomic scale, which means turning solids into liquids, rearranging DNA like Lego pieces, walking through walls, or blasting you apart with a thought. On top of that, he's been shown repairing fatal wounds and even resurrecting himself, making him as hard to kill as it is impossible to predict. His feats are often understated, fixing appliances, healing neighbors, but the potential reads like Marvel's version of Dr. Manhattan. What makes it even worse is his deliberate obscurity. Mr. M could theoretically warp environments or bodies on a cosmic scale, but he usually chooses silence and retreat. Even when modern storylines give him his own otherworld realm, Mercerator, he still carried himself like a man who'd rather be left alone. That tension of godlike ability and minimalist lifestyle is why he lands at number 14. Terrifying if you ever wanted the spotlight, but usually content staying in the shadows. I guess you could say he's just a chill guy. Number 13, Elixir. If your medic can heal you with a touch, that's comforting. If the same medic can also kill you instantly with that touch, that's Elixir. And suddenly, the school nurse looks like the scariest person in the room. Josh Foley showed up in the 2003 New Mutants as a nervous Bronx kid who accidentally healed a teammate and quickly found himself drafted into Xavier's lineup. At first, he played the role of helpful squad healer, but writers kept peeling back layers until his gift revealed itself as something far more terrifying: total control over biology itself. Josh's power is biokinesis, which means cells, tissues, even entire genomes are like clay in his hands. He can close a wound, neutralize a poison, regrow limbs, or flip the switch from revive to expire in an instant. Early stories leaned on the sweetness, restoring teammates, mending damage, but the darker X-Force here showed him weaponizing his gift, introducing lethal shutdowns with surgical precision. On top of that, in the Krakoan era, he became part of the Five, the mutant dream team that literally resurrects fallen mutants on an assembly line. Without Josh's healing touch, Krakoa's rebirth machine doesn't run. What makes him so unnerving is the scope. He's not shaping galaxies like Franklin Richards, but when biology is in the battlefield, he's the walking apocalypse. That mix of tenderness and terror lands him at number 13. The golden boy who could cradle life in one hand and snuff it out with the other. Number 12, Exodus. Exodus is what happens when you hand an immortal knight a mountain of psychic power and then tell him faith makes him stronger. First introduced in X Factor number 92 back in 1993, Bennett Duparis started as a crusader in Magneto's camp, a zealot who turned mutant supremacy into religion. Since then, he's bounced between villain, fanatic, and reluctant ally, but one thing never changes. His belief is bottomless, and his power scales with it. His specialty is telekinesis, and calling it strong is underselling it. Exodus can throw up force fields that laugh off armies, crush matter like it's tinfoil, or hurl himself through the sky with the grace of a wrecking ball. On top of that, he layers in telepathy, energy production, even the kind of regenerative durability. He's not just moving rocks, he's bending the battlefield around him. In the Krakoa era, he went from fighting alongside acolytes to helping terraform Mars into Arako's new home, casually aura farming his telekinesis at planetary scale. And in the Immortal X-Men runs, he's portrayed as one of the most dependable heavy hitters on the board. What makes it crazier is that he gets stronger when he believes harder, meaning doubt weakens him and zeal turns him into a one-man apocalypse. Ranked number 12, Exodus stands above most Omegas because he's consistent, devastating, and planetary in scope. But he doesn't quite crack the top tier since he's not rewriting reality, he's just crushing everything inside it. Number 11, Hope Summers. Hope Summers isn't just called the mutant messiah for dramatic flair. Her entire existence reshaped mutant history. Born after M-Day, when mutants were nearly wiped out, she was the single spark of new life everyone wanted a piece of. Cable whisked her away through time to protect her. Entire wars were fought over her survival, and by the time she returned to the X-Men, she wasn't just a child prophecy, she was a weaponized answer to extinction. Her mutation is deceptively simple. She echoes the power of anybody nearby, instantly and at their full strength. If Cyclops is around, she's blasting. If Iceman's nearby, she's freezing. If Magneto's in the mix, she's pulling down satellites. On top of that, she can sync, stabilize mutant powers, letting entire squads operate like a perfectly tuned orchestra. That's why she's part of Krakoa's famous Five, the Resurrection Crew, where she ties together wildly different abilities to churn out cloned bodies and bring dead mutants back. Without her, the whole system collapsed. Hope's big showcases speak for themselves. In Second Coming, she copied multiple heavy hitters at once and shredded Bastion's army. In House of X, she turned Resurrection into a factory. And what makes it even crazier is that she turns every nearby mutant into a walking cheat code. Rank number 11, she's not rewriting universes on her own, but she makes everyone around her terrifyingly efficient, which sometimes feels even scarier. Number 10, Iceman. For decades, Iceman was the class clown of the X-Men, the guy making snow angels while Cyclops brooded in a corner. Then, Marvel quietly admitted the joke was on us. Bobby Drake is one of the most dangerous mutants alive. A founding X-Men since the X-Men #1, he spent years tossing snowballs and building ice slides until writers started asking the obvious, what happens if a man can freeze anything? Bobby's gift is control over negative temperature and molecular motion, which basically means he can shut down heat whenever he wants. That translates into reshaping water in all its forms, transforming his body into living ice, jumping through liquid like a teleport system, and spawning hulking ice avatars that fight on their own. On top of that, he's ridiculously hard to kill. He can scatter himself into water and reassemble like nothing happened. His feats range from playful to apocalyptic. He's frozen cities, terraformed battlefields, and in Amazing X-Men #2, casually iced over a chunk of hell. More recently, in 2023's Astonishing Iceman, leaned into his Omega status, pushing his abilities to planetary extremes. What makes it even crazier is that Bobby's still learning how far he can go. He can't rewrite reality like Franklin Richards, but if ecosystems and armies rely on heat, he can end them with a shrug. That's why he sits at number 10. A domain-limited Omega, but one whose domain is the survival of everything warm-blooded. Number 9, Storm. When Storm walks into a room, the weather checks in first. Ororo Munro has been one of X-Men's crown jewels since giant-size X-Men #1, and her resume is absurd. Street thief in Cairo, goddess to villages in Africa, queen of Wakanda, and now one of the beating hearts of Krakoa. She's led teams into war, run nations, and stared down gods, all while controlling the sky like it's an extension of her own mood. Her power is atmokinesis, which sounds like fancy science word until you realize it means complete control of weather. Rain, snow, hurricanes, blizzards, lightning storms, electromagnetic surges, even space weather like solar winds. If it counts as atmospheric, she can bend it. On top of that, she doesn't just summon storms, she regulates entire climates, providing rainfall to starving regions or freezing armies in their tracks. In more recent stories, Marvel has stated that leaning into the terrifying side of her gift, teasing that her destructive potential could go far beyond Earth's skies. Her feats are legendary. She was worshipped as a literal goddess. She brought nations food through rain, and she once helped reshape cosmic battlefields as Wakanda's queen. What makes it even crazier is that Marvel explicitly classifies her as Omega, meaning her ceiling is undefined. She can't rewrite reality like Franklin or Legion, but when your domain is the entire planet's weather system, that's enough to put Storm at number 9. Not a reality warper, but a living god of Earth's skies. Number 7, Vulcan. Imagine finding out the Summers family tree had a secret third brother, and instead of being a friendly addition, he shows up ready to conquer galaxies. That's Gabriel Summers, better known as Vulcan, who burst onto the scene in X-Men Deadly Genesis and quickly proved he wasn't interested in small-scale drama. While Scott and Alex were busy brooding on Earth, Gabriel was out rewriting the power balance of the Shi'ar Empire. His gift is energy manipulation at an omega scale, which sounds neat until you realize it includes sensing, absorbing, reshaping, and weaponizing virtually any energy source he encounters. Light, radiation, mutant energy signatures, even the raw fuel of stars. It's all fair game. He can build force fields, hurl blasts that level fleets, or twist exotic energy like it's Play-Doh. On top of that, he heals himself through absorption, making him as hard to put down as he is to avoid. His resume is stacked with chaos. In the rise and fall of the Shi'ar Empire, he toppled emperors, threw Xavier into the M'Kraan crystal, and crowned himself ruler. In Emperor Vulcan, he torches fleets and casually fought at star-killing levels, proving he wasn't just ambitious, he was cosmic. And that's why he sits at number 8. He doesn't bend reality itself, but he commands the fuel that powers stars and civilizations. Vulcan isn't subtle. He's a walking supernova with a little bit of daddy issues. Number 7, Magneto. If Charles Xavier is a dreamer, Magneto is the guy who brings the wrecking ball to the dream. Eric Lesher, sometimes Max Eisenhart, always the master of magnetism, has been bending metal and philosophy since X-Men number 1. Villain, revolutionary, king, and finally statesman of Krakoa, Magneto has lived through every role. But one thing has never changed: his absolute command of the electromagnetic spectrum. His gift is magnetism turned up to infinity. He could tear apart tanks with a flick, crush armies beneath warped bridges, or raise orbital fortresses like Asteroid M and use them as his own sovereign nation. On the finer side, he once stripped the adamantium from Wolverine's bones atom by atom in Fatal Attractions, a scene so infamous it's still cited decades later. On top of that, he's generated force fields that shrug off nukes, manipulated the Earth's electromagnetic field, and shifted celestial masses. Whether it's something as small as a molecule or as massive as an asteroid, Eric makes it dance. What makes it even worse is how useful his power is in every context. Magnetism is baked into the universe itself. It holds matter together, drives planetary fields, and powers technology. That means he's not just dangerous in battle, he can crash civilizations without leaving his throne. That's why Magneto lands at number 7. He doesn't rewrite reality, but with magnetism at his fingertips, he can reshape the world in every sense of the word. Number 6, Professor X. Imagine the world's most powerful brain deciding to start a superhero team and then casually admitting he can rewrite your memories if you get too annoying. That's Charles Xavier, the founder of the X-Men since X-Men number 1, better known as Professor X. For decades, he's been the gold standard of telepaths. But modern Marvel went further. In the Krakoan era, Xavier is officially stamped as an Omega-level telepath, meaning there's no ceiling to what his mind can do. His toolkit goes way beyond reading thoughts. Xavier has swept entire continents with Cerebro, linked armies of mutants into one psychic network, and edited memories so deep people didn't realize they've been rewritten. He projects astrally across the globe, creates psychic firewalls that feel like Fort Knox, and even helped engineer the mutant resurrection protocols by organizing the Five's coordination with weekly Cerebro backups. On top of that, let's not forget he once helped spawn Onslaught, a living psychic apocalypse born from his clash with Magneto, a reminder of how dangerous his mind can be when things slip. What makes Xavier stand apart is experience. Young telepaths like Quentin Quire might flare brighter in raw chaos, but Charles has decades of strategy, teaching, and political scheming to weaponize his gift. That balance of raw psychic force and cold planning is why he lands at number 6. Not a reality warping god, but the man who can outthink one. Number 5, Proteus. Some mutants bend the rules of physics. Proteus takes those rules, rips them up, and lights them on fire. First appearing in Uncanny X-Men number 119, Kevin McTaggart isn't a person in the normal sense. He's living psionic energy. To walk around, he has to possess a body, and once he does, reality itself starts glitching like a broken video game. Streets warp, the earth shivers, and entire cities twist into nightmares until the poor host body burns out. Back in Edinburgh, it took Colossus punching him into oblivion just to stop the madness. His modern role is a little less flashy, but just as important. On Krakoa, Proteus is part of the Five, which I've already mentioned many times in this video, the mutant dream team that makes resurrection possible. His power bends biology itself, turning inert eggs into fresh living husks that can house Cerebro's stored minds. In other words, without Proteus's reality hacks, mutant immortality wouldn't work. And that's the scary part. This isn't just about flashy chaos anymore. It's about the survival of an entire species depending on him. What makes it even crazier is that his ceiling is undefined. Yeah, he needs a host, but once inside, the world's his toy box. That's why he lands at number 5. He may not craft universes like Franklin, but when Proteus walks into a room, reality itself walks out. Number 4, Jamie Braddock. Imagine looking at reality and seeing it as a bunch of loose strings you can pluck, tie, or snip like a bored cat with yarn. That's Jamie Braddock, first introduced in Captain Britain Weekly number 9. He grew from side character oddity into the unpredictable king of Otherworld. In modern 2019 to 2021 Excalibur arcs, he doesn't just mess with reality. He knits entire pocket universes out of thin air, populates them with constructs, and then watches the chaos unfold like a playwright who's also the audience. His gift is basically quantum puppetry. Jamie perceives the universe as a weave of strings, and with one flicker, he can stitch together new worlds or unravel old ones. At one point, he casually resurrected people, handed out psionic immunities, and even whipped up alternative versions like Captain Britain, like he was running a discount multiverse shop. On top of that, his creations aren't cheap illusions. They're full, self-consistent realities where others can live, fight, and sometimes get stuck. That's an insane level of power even by Marvel's Omega standards. The only catch is Jamie himself. His mind is notoriously unstable, so his godhood tends to swing between creative brilliance and total chaos. Still, when he's focused, he sits among the most dangerous mutants alive. Jamie doesn't warp reality. He rewrites it, then laughs at the footnotes. Number 3, Jean Grey. Alright, picture this. Your teammate, the one who's usually calm and kind, suddenly eats a star for breakfast and wipes out an entire planet of people without breaking a sweat. Yeah, that's Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force. She started back in X-Men number 1 as the group's resident telepath and telekinetic, already powerful enough to throw minds and matter around like toys. But once she bonded with the Phoenix during the legendary Dark Phoenix saga, her gifts were cranked up to cosmic levels, and the results were terrifying. Her baseline is already wild. She can control minds, shield against psychic attacks, and move matter on scales most mutants wouldn't dare imagine. Add the Phoenix Force, and suddenly, she's casually vaporizing the Shi'ar battleship, overwhelming entire defense fleets, and, oh yeah, snuffing out billions of lives by detonating a sun. On top of that, Phoenix Jean isn't limited to destruction. She's also been shown using the Firebird power for resurrection and large-scale renewal, proving her reach spans both creation and annihilation. What makes her spot at number 3 so solid is that dual nature. Even without Phoenix, Jean's classified as an Omega telepath. With Phoenix, she becomes a cosmic engine capable of remaking or breaking worlds. She falls just short of the next two only because Marvel often frames the Phoenix as an external boost. But let's be honest, whether it's Jean or Jean plus Bird, the galaxy usually ends up on fire. Number 2, Legion. Imagine one person who isn't just a walking superpower, but a whole crowd of them crammed into the same head, each with their own god-tier abilities. That's David Haller, better known as Legion, who first showed up in the New Mutants number 25. His mutant twist is that every split personality comes with its own unique power set, and some of those alter egos can casually bend space, time, and reality itself. Think less multiple personalities and more multiple universes waiting to explode. His greatest claim to infamy came in the Legion Quest storyline in the mid-90s. One attempt to fix the past by killing Magneto ended up shattering the timeline so badly that it burst the entire Age of Apocalypse reality, a whole alternate world where history was rewritten. That wasn't a calculated cosmic feat, it was just David being emotionally unstable and accidentally redrafting existence. Other arcs show him tossing around telepathy, telekinesis, matter manipulation, and probability control depending on which alter is holding the wheel. On top of that, some of his personas like Chronodon and time sync can warp time on planetary scales, while others like Weaver's just straight up rewrite physics. Legion lands at number 2 because his ceiling isn't tied to one ability. He's a swarm of Omegas in one brain, each capable of universe-bending chaos. The only reason he's not number 1? There's still one mutant whose resume makes even Legion's multiverse-breaking tantrums look like practice. Number 1, Franklin Richards. Some kids draw imaginary worlds with crayons. Franklin Richards draws them into existence, complete with galaxies, physics, and people who think they've always been alive. First introduced as the son of Reed and Sue Richards of the Fantastic Four, Franklin quickly outgrew the superhero toddler role and started showing powers that made even cosmic beings nervous. By the time of the Onslaught crisis in the 90s, he casually whipped up a pocket universe, the Heroes Reborn reality, to store Earth's fallen champions until they were ready to come back. That wasn't a one-off stunt either. Franklin has repeatedly created, shaped, and maintained universes like a kid building Lego sets, only his toys have laws of nature baked in. His toolkit is pure reality manipulation. He can spawn entire dimensions, breathe life into constructs, and rewrite matter and energy at scales that leave planets looking small. In some arcs, Franklin even produces cosmic avatars of himself, because apparently one Franklin wasn't terrifying enough. On top of that, he's been described as the great enemy of the omniversal order. Franklin lands at number 1 because he doesn't only bend reality, he builds it from scratch. Legion can break timelines. Jean can eat suns. But Franklin makes whole universes and keeps them running. That's the top floor of mutant power. That's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers, and see you in the next one.